Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm Hilmarie Hutchison, and today I'm thrilled to introduce a product powerhouse, Shehab Beram. As a senior product manager, Shehab has orchestrated game-changing strategies from dynamic pricing engines to innovative payment methods. His entrepreneurial spirit shines through as the founder of VisionX, a personal branding studio specialized for product leaders in the world. With a wealth of experience and a knack for driving growth, Shehab is here to share his journey and insights. Let's hear from him firsthand. Shehab, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's begin with a little background about you, where you come from, where you grew up, and something so that our audience gets to know you a little bit.
I come from Libya. I was born in the capital, Tripoli. I spent around 13 years in Libya before migrating to Malaysia, where I spent most of my life. I spent around 10 years in Malaysia. I did my high school there. I did also my university there. I did a bunch of professional certifications there, worked with multiple Malaysian companies before going back to the Middle East, where I started doing product management with Saudi and UAE-based companies. I come basically from a family where my dad is a diplomat, my mother is a civil engineer, so work was something crucial. Basically, we had a rule of the earlier you start, the more proud you will have your parents be. So I started my career early. In 2014, I worked as an IT specialist with a software house company. From there, actually, I started my university at 16, where I was doing a foundation year. Then after the foundation year, I did my degree in software engineering. At the same time of my degree, I was doing some sort of research with different design labs in Malaysia. I have successfully published around 15 papers with multiple professors across the world at the age of 20. After finishing my degrees and having gained some sort of good product management experience in the Southeast Asian market, I switched my focus here when I'm operating now in the Middle East.
What a start to your life. First of all, sounds like you had brilliant role models in your parents, which is kudos to them. Well done. And then starting university at such a young age, at 16, my goodness. So you definitely had a very early start, a really early kickoff in your career. How did you get into product management?
It was actually by luck. I was obsessed with certifications. When I was doing my university degree, I was trying to gain as many certifications as I possibly could. I also was a programmer. So I programmed. Even when I was a founder at that time, I was the CTO of the company. I felt programming kept me a little bit away from the bigger picture of business as an aspiring entrepreneur. When I was actually preparing for one of the business certifications, I read about a role called product manager. So I said, let me do some further research there, I watched YouTube videos. I remember also going into product management events, local events there in Kuala Lumpur. After gaining so much insight, I said, let me give it 3 days of thought. And then I decided to dedicate my product management or my career to product management after some sort of trial period. I remember contacting one of the digital startup founders in Malaysia. The startup was actually called Meraka. I have had a personal connection with the founder, and I told him, hey, I want to be your next product manager. So he told me, we were actually looking for someone who can implement Agile for us. So let's start together. So that was the perfect opportunity for me to learn. And that was basically the first product manager role I've ever had in my life. I faced challenges at that time, literally thinking that I was the CEO of the product. I really believed that I was the CEO of the product and I can determine the future of the product. I've learned the hard way that it's all about influence. It's all about leading with no authority. As a product manager, you don't just play the music, you conduct the orchestra, you're orchestrating every note to create a harmonious masterpiece.
Very interesting. I like the way that you put that. I just want to go back to what you said. You were obsessed with certifications when you were this was while you were still in university, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Was this because you just wanted to collect lots of certificates, or were you just had a really strong drive and yearning to gain knowledge and just learn as much as you could?
It was basically because I was obsessed with learning. I felt like what I was studying in university wasn't sufficient for me. I wanted to learn about every single function in the tech industry. It was about me understanding how every team thinks. Some of the certifications I took were about project management, some of them were about business analysis, and some of them were about data analysis. And every one of these certifications helped me understand the perspective of every team member that I'm working with as a product manager. The thing is, I wasn't sure about my end goal at that time of being obsessed with certifications. So I was like, let me try to gain all of these certifications because at the end of the day, I'll end up using them since I want to be a founder one day. And as a founder, you don't just do your role as a founder. You don't just contact investors or work with the business side of things. You need to work with your team closely. Even in your first 3 years, you need to have your hands dirty, So gaining these certifications while learning the knowledge behind these certifications will definitely help you as an entrepreneur. So that was like the motive behind my obsession with certifications at that time.
Fantastic. I'm sure you learned a lot through them because the path you then took, we can see the result of all that, the learning that you did during that time. You mentioned a little bit earlier about some of the challenges that you have faced through your journey. What were some of the challenges and how did you overcome them?
The most common challenge I face in my career and I face in my early journey as a product manager is stakeholder management, to be honest. Stakeholder management in theory is way easier than practice. In reality, and specifically during the times when I'm doing product management here in the MENA, I feel stakeholders sometimes are too sensitive, hard to deal with. I wasn't quite sure at the beginning on how to deal with such cases, how to make sure to foster a collaborative sort of environment with the stakeholders. But then I realized with a good mentor that you need to just invest into having more close personal relationships with the stakeholders. What I try to do is I try to have more sort of like personal relationship with them, going out with them from time to time, incorporating their suggestions, their feedback into my workflow. I kind of like value their opinions, value their feedback. So that was like, I would say, the biggest obstacle in my career as a product manager.
Very interesting. And the learning that came from that was the importance of building relationships, that building that network and then building those relationships is so key. And that's true in every business, is having those relationships that help you then achieve whatever the goals are that you have.
That's correct. In the beginning of my journey, what I was focusing on was just doing my job. Like, hey, let me do my job and let me just deal with them because they are just work colleagues. And that kind of like fostered a sort of toxic relationship between me and those stakeholders. But with time, when I realized that investing in personal relationship is super important, I started to see basically a very positive impact on my relationship with them, the overall workflow, and the products we built, crucially.
Excellent. Now let's talk about VisionX. You are the founder of VisionX, and I mentioned in the introduction that it is the first personal branding studio specialized for product leaders in the world. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I started VisionX with a motive of having better product leaders in the world. We're not here talking about developing skills or not talking about basically sharing knowledge. It's all about making sure that the companies knows and basically sees the best product leaders in the world. I see two types of product managers and product leaders when I'm doing basically my work as a product manager. We have the most amazing product managers where we're talking about their LinkedIns, where we're talking about their personal brands. They are actually off scene, they're not basically being seen in the market. No one knows about them, although they are one of the best product managers in the world. We are having a lot of product influencers who are really bad at doing their job. So VisionX came to bridge the gap between both of these components, the market and the best product leaders. So our goal and our mission is to take the personal brand of product leaders and make sure to develop it in a way that anyone in the market, be it companies, be it recruiters, be it startups, or even founders, can really find these product leaders. So what we do is we make sure that we develop their LinkedIn profiles to have the best LinkedIn profile. We also secure for them speaking engagements with forums. We also make sure to host them, even feature them in magazines. We develop their content through short video or in a short video format where we interview them and share their expertise with the world. It's more of like a package that you as a product leader can utilize in order to make sure that the market knows you better. We are basically turning product managers and product leaders into market leaders. That's the mission of VisionX.
You sort of touched on it, and maybe you can go a bit more deep into this. What are the most common challenges aspiring product managers face as product mentors and coaches, and how do you help them overcome these obstacles?
Basically, one of the most challenging parts is firstly not sure whether being technical is helpful or not. There is a lot of misunderstanding about this in the market as for now. Product managers think that they need to be technical, they need to speak the language of the engineers as well as the language of business. In reality, as long as you have an effective communication and a clear way to communicate with all your stakeholders, you shouldn't be caring about whether to be a technical guy or not a technical guy. So that's one of the first challenges I observed with my mentees. The second challenge is basically having a clear and structured career ladder. Some of them, they start their journey as BMs and then they start expecting a promotion within the first 3 years or 4 years of their roles. Now, the reality of the product scene in the world, not only in the MENA region, is that our career ladder is not clear. It's not structured. So I've seen product managers being promoted to head of products within 3 years of their careers. But I've seen also product managers not being promoted for even like more than 5 years. So it's not a game where you can see a clear career ladder. I'm not here saying that luck is the best sort of like best bet for you, but the whole product scene here is kind of messy, you know? No one knows. Is it about you showing off your products or your achievements? Is it you showing off your skills? Is it by developing or trying to do more sort of like leadership responsibilities? No, a single company can basically give you a clear sort of like guidelines on this. So what I suggest and what I advise my mentees typically is make sure that your work is visible. Make sure that you're moving the needle, meaning that you're improving your metrics. And make sure, lastly, to have a very positive relationship with your manager and you set clear and measurable goals that you track on quarterly basis or even on monthly basis that showcases your development on the long run.
I think that's excellent insights. So each person's story, each person's growth and their trajectory is going to be individual and unique. There's no straight line that you're going to say you're going to go from here to here in exactly this many steps. But you have some control over how that path is going to go or how fast that path is going to go, depending on the things that you can implement yourself. I think that's very insightful. You have been involved in consulting multiple startups on product-led growth. Can you share some insights or success stories from these experiences?
One of the success stories I take pride in is a company that is now still in the stealth mode. It will be the first NFT-based ticketing system in the MENA region, aimed at decentralizing the airline tickets and the hotel reservation market. So you can think of it as more of like tourism decentralization. They started as an API solution. So they wanted to offer a sort of technical solutions to airlines to basically use it to generate NFT tickets. They didn't have a sort of clear value proposition. They didn't have clear audience. So they wanted a consultant to come and basically guide them through the whole process they need to establish their business model. So what we did was we worked on an extensive market and user research. We interviewed around 300 users. We've done benchmarking on around 20 solutions. And we even talked with VCs and investors. What I did with them was we changed the vision from just an API solution to a comprehensive marketplace for NFT tickets, where airlines, concerts, hotels, and any tourism-related tickets can be resold. So more of like a dynamic market between airlines, concerts. Are they going to face challenges? Yes, and we are still working on these challenges. Challenges like how they can market the solution and the problem to airlines, because it's one of the legacy markets where the whole process of selling the tickets has been there for decades. You know, nothing changed about it. So they need to pitch it to the airlines to make sure that they need to highlight what problem does reselling the tickets solve. But we are going through basically the phase of solving these problems. This is one of the best experiences and the success stories I've ever had. And they're now, by the way, generating good numbers. Their go-to-market is not airlines. It's now hotels and concerts. So we are having good numbers and we are clearly seeing the product market fit. Now we'll be able to start the batching process to airlines and to other tourism sectors.
Fantastic to be involved with something like that. And you started sort of in one direction and then saw it being something practical for different industries as well and being able to be used in different ways. But it must be so fulfilling to be part of a project like this where you can see it from when you came up with the idea was started to see it progress and be successful. Your education spans software engineering to strategic technology management. How has this diverse background influenced your approach to product management?
Actually, the whole background thing hasn't just influenced my approach to product management, but also influenced my approach to product growth consultancy and even my mentorship approach. It basically helped me speak all the language and can be basically helpful in different scenarios. So when I speak with an engineer, I can speak fluently because I have my engineering background. When I speak with a designer, I can help the designers accomplish their work faster because I have product design background. And when I'm basically talking with a leader, like my clients now from different companies, CEOs and founders, I can talk the strategic language. The whole diverse background of education that I have has led me to speak this fluent language with each and single stakeholder.
So all those certifications you took, all that education you took is helping you in all the different projects that you're working on now.
Definitely, 100%.
So looking forward, what trends do you see shaping the future of project management, and how are you preparing to stay ahead in this evolving field?
Personally, I see AI as the first and the most important assistant for product managers. Personally, now I utilize AI to help me with the strategy docs, synthesizing my user research, sometimes even with data analysis. What I really would like to emphasize on is product managers should always, starting from now, learn about AI and AI trends, and even how to build AI models using ChatGPT. For me personally, I've built 4 AI models. I've built an AI model to help me write my BRDs. I've built an AI model to help me with writing and refining my strategy docs, not obviously generating it from scratch, but based on the insights I provide, it can help me really find the gaps in my strategy doc. I have an AI model that helps me with setting my persona and even designing my ideal customer profile. I really want to emphasize that product managers should start to design their AI models because it will really help them be more efficient with their jobs. I see also AI taking more responsibilities in the future, not replacing BMs. Product management cannot be diminished, but it's more of like helping product managers with more functions. I see AI helping with wireframing, for example. AI can help also with designing low-level prototypes, not necessarily just wireframes. AI can also help with building the MVP. As I see now, ChatGPT is better evolving with the coding part. So I think ChatGPT can really start help BMs, specifically BMs with small startups, to build very small MVPs and test them out themselves before involving the engineers with the technical implementation.
Excellent insights. And I think what you said there about needing to learn about AI trends and how to start building one's own models and using ChatGPT, I think that holds true for most industries. I think that anyone that's not educating themselves on this is going to find themselves left behind. So AI is not going to replace humans, but humans who know how to use AI is going to replace people who don't know how. Now it's time to rev up the excitement, and I'm going to ask you some lightning round questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Describe your management style in 3 words.
I would go with creative, unfortunately tough, and persuasive.
What's the one skill every aspiring product manager should master?
I would always and forever go with stakeholder management. You as a product manager, you are the hub of communication in your organization. You will be the one processing the data, information from everyone and making sure that everyone is on the same page and the needle is actually moving. So stakeholder management, the systematic way, the random way, should always be mastered by product managers before even jumping into any technical skill.
If you had a superpower to solve one global problem, what would it be?
I would actually go with global warming.
What's the most surprising trend in tech that you've noticed recently?
Product engineering. It's a new role. I've seen with some startups in the West. Now some companies here in the Middle East are adopting it. And it's basically where product managers are not only doing product management, but they are also doing the coding part. They're also doing the design part. So it's more of like 3 roles in one role. I wasn't expecting such role to be present, but I think small companies and pre-seed companies are now adopting it.
And my last question on the rapid fire, what is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you get?
Going to the gym. I love going to the gym. It helps me come up with creative ideas. Even in my role, it helps me solve problems. Sometimes I take work with me home. We face problems as product leaders always. So going to the gym, thinking about the problem really helps me come up with solutions, and not even simple solutions. I come up with innovative solutions to these problems. And then I end up sharing these problems midnight with my team. That's why I'm always sticking with going to the gym.
Excellent, because probably just getting your mind out of the normal working situation, a different environment, sort of frees up your creativity to come up with a solution with a problem you might have been facing. Very nice. Thank you for playing along. That was easy enough. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you about your green pill moment. So what was your green pill moment, the action or event that was the turning point for you or your career?
In 2018, I attended a software engineering bootcamp by Microsoft, obviously when I was an engineering student. So we were coupled with mentors from top-notch companies like Google, Facebook. So they collaborated with one of the universities there. They offered a 7 days extensive bootcamp. So I had the mentor, and I was chatting with my mentor on a daily basis for the 7 days. He told me one amazing basically insight that I'm sticking it with me till the day. He said, if you don't enjoy doing your job even after 5, it's not the right role for you. So it's not about you sticking in your full-time role after 5, but is it something you're passionate about enough to take it in your part-time engagements, doing consultancy, or even writing about it? That was insightful for me at that time, because software engineering wasn't the thing that I really enjoyed doing after 5, even when I was interning with companies as a software engineer. But that's not the fact now with product management. I write about product management. I consult companies about product management. I teach product management, and I mentor product or aspiring product managers. So I obviously enjoy doing it after 5. And that's why it's the right role for me. Him telling me that one, it was a turning point, because it made me realize that software engineering is not the right thing for me. It's always helpful that I have my software engineering background under my belt.
Wow, how absolutely remarkable that almost a by chance meeting with this person, because you took that course because you love to learn, got you to that point where you met somebody who gave you that excellent advice to find the thing that you're passionate about, that doesn't feel like work, that even after 5, you still want to do it. Fantastic. And that now has shaped the direction your whole journey is taking. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And for sharing your incredible story with us. I'm so sure that our audience is going to thoroughly love this conversation. And I'm sure young entrepreneurs are going to be so motivated by you and your journey and your insights that you've shared with us today.
Lovely.
Before we wrap up, can you please let our listeners know where they can find and follow you? And we'll also put this in the show notes.
They can find me on LinkedIn. They just need to search Shehab Beram, SHEHAB space BERAM, or just visit my website, www.shehabberam.com.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And again, thank you for being here today. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
And to our listeners, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more amazing episodes.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.